Ma, please, don't send me away. I didn't take your money. I swear, I didn't steal anything. Emma was on her knees, tears running down her cheeks. Her hands were shaking as she begged, looking up at Mrs. Grace Taylor, the woman she had served faithfully for almost a year. Get out of my house this minute, Mrs. Grace shouted, pointing to the door with fire in her eyes. You are a thief. You think I don't know? My bracelet is gone, and nobody else sent it. My room except you. Get out before I call the police. Emma's heart broke into pieces. She couldn't believe this was happening. She had washed Mrs. Grace's clothes, cleaned her kitchen, helped take care of her children, and this was how she was being repaid. But Ma, maybe your children. Shut up! Mrs. Grace screamed. Don't you dare mention my children. You poor things are all the same. You look innocent, but you're nothing but criminals in disguise. The security guard opened the gate without a word. Emma slowly stood up, wiped her tears, and walked out of the compound with her small nylon bag. That was all she had. Clothes were still inside the house, but she didn't have the strength to ask for them. She didn't want to beg anymore. As she stepped outside, the hot afternoon sun slapped her face like a warning. The streets looked different. Even the wind felt angry. Emma walked slowly, not knowing where to go. Her legs were heavy, and her stomach growled with hunger. She made her way back to her tiny one-room apartment in Grenell, a quiet, dusty neighborhood filled with small shops, shouting children, and old women selling vegetables. Her landlord, Mr. Dan, was standing by the gate, sipping a bottle of soda. Emma, you don't come back? He asked, smiling with his yellow teeth. Emma forced a small smile. Good afternoon. So, you go pay today? She looked down. Not yet, sir. But I'm hoping to get something soon. Mr. Dan hissed and sipped his drink again. You don't have money, but you have hope. Okay now. Emma climbed the stairs to her small room and locked the door behind her. She sat on the lower and let the tears fall again. She cried until her head hurt. Then, she lay on the cold lower and fell asleep, too tired to think. The next day, she woke up to knocks on her door. Emma, open this door. Mr. Dan's voice thundered through the wood. She opened the door slowly. I need my money, he said. This is the third month. You said you'll pay. You didn't pay. You don't have a job. You are now a charity case. Please give me a little more time. I just lost my job. Mr. Dan laughed. Not kindly. Exactly why you must leave now. I have people who want this room. People who can pay. Please, just one more week. Pack your things before evening or I will throw you out myself. By sunset, Emma was standing outside with her nylon bag again. Only this time, she didn't even know where to go. She walked for hours, too ashamed to ask any friends for help. She hadn't told anyone what happened. How could she? They would laugh. Or worse, pity her. Night fell. The sky turned dark, and the wind grew cold. Emma found herself at a small car wash not far from the main road. She used to pass by it all the time. It had an old shack at the back where the workers kept buckets and rags. It was quiet now. Nobody was washing cars at night. She sat on an old plastic chair and wrapped her arms around herself. The chair creaked with every move, but it was better than sleeping on the bare ground. She pulled her bag close and used it as a pillow. Her stomach growled again. She hadn't eaten anything since morning. A mosquito buzzed near her ear. She waved it away weakly. This is not the life I imagined, she whispered to herself. How did I end up here? She laughed quietly, not because anything was funny, but because crying again would take too much energy. In the distance, she saw a cockroach running across the floor. Even you have a place to go, she muttered, watching the insect disappear into the shadows. She closed her eyes and tried to sleep. The night was long and loud. Cars passed by with their bright lights. Some men argued at a food stall nearby. A dog barked without reason. But Emma didn't move. She was too tired to care. And yet, Somewhere deep inside her, a tiny voice whispered, "Don't give up yet. Something is coming. Just wait." She didn't know how true that was. She didn't know that her life was about to change. She didn't know that a billionaire was going to walk into that car wash very soon. And that everything she lost would come back. This time, multiplied. But for now, she slept like a stranger in a broken place, with nothing but faith left in her heart. Emma woke up to the sound of splashing water. At first, she thought she was dreaming, until the cold drops hit her face. "Hey! Move from there!" a rough voice shouted. She sat up quickly, rubbing her eyes. One of the car wash boys was rinsing a car, and the water had reached her corner. "Sorry," she muttered and grabbed her nylon bag. "Go sleep inside your house, Abeg," the boy said, shaking his head as he continued spraying the car. Emma didn't reply. She walked to the far corner of the car wash and sat on an old tire. Her back hurt. Her neck was stiff. She hadn't slept well. For the next few days, that corner became her home. She would wake early before the car wash boys arrived and stay out of sight. During the day, she walked around town, searching for work. She entered shops, asked at roadside stalls, even tried to help an old woman carry firewood just to earn something, but nothing came. People either looked at her with suspicion or smiled politely and said, "We're not hiring." By the 5th day, her last money was gone. She hadn't eaten anything proper since she left her room. Sometimes a kind hawker would give her leftover buns. Other times, she drank water from the public tap and called it dinner. But still, she held on. She told herself it was just for a while. Things would get better. Then one afternoon, while she sat in her usual spot behind the car wash, wiping her face with a wet rag, she noticed a black SUV pulling into the lot. The car was clean, too clean to even need a wash, but the driver parked anyway. From the front seat stepped out a tall man in a dark blue suit. He wore sunglasses and held a phone to his ear. His voice was calm, commanding. 2 car wash boys rushed over with buckets and soap. Emma didn't know why, but something about the man made her heart beat fast. Maybe it was the way he carried himself, or maybe because she hadn't seen someone so polished. In days, the man walked a little away from the car, still talking on the phone. His driver stayed inside. Emma stood up slowly. She didn't plan to. Her legs just moved. Maybe it was hunger. Maybe it was desperation. Maybe it was courage. Whatever it was, she walked straight toward the man. "Excuse me, sir." Her voice was soft but firm. The man turned. He was still on the phone but looked her way. "I'm sorry to disturb you," she said quickly. "Please, I'm looking for work. Any work at all. I can clean. I can wash. I can sweep. I just need a chance, please." He held up one finger, telling her to wait, and continued his call. Emma's heart raced. Maybe she had made a mistake. Maybe he would shout at her or call the security. When he finally ended the call, he took off his sunglasses and looked at her. "What's your name?" he asked. "Emma. Emma Clark." He studied her face for a moment. "You work here?" "No," she said, ashamed. I sleep here sometimes. I don't have anywhere else to go." The man didn't say anything for a while. Then he looked toward the car. "Are you good at cleaning?" "Yes, sir. Very good." "You have experience?" "I worked as a maid before. I can do anything." "Please, I just need a job. I don't even mind how much you pay. I just want to work." He nodded slowly. "Come with me." Emma blinked. "Sir." "I said come," he repeated. She followed him to the car like someone walking in a dream. He opened the back door himself and told her to sit. "Thank you, sir," she whispered, confused but hopeful. "Don't thank me yet," he said as he got into the front seat. "You're going to work. If you mess up, I'll drop you off right back at this car wash. Deal?" "Deal, sir. I won't disappoint you." As the car drove off, Emma looked out the window. The car wash disappeared behind her. Just like the pain of the past week, she didn't know where she was going. She didn't know who this man really was. But for the first time in a long while, Her heart felt light. Hope was returning. And her story was just beginning. The ride to Mr. Harris's house was quiet, but Emma's mind was not. She stayed at the back of his head, wondering who he truly was. Everything about him was neat, expensive, and serious. Even the inside of the car smelled like new leather and power. They drove through streets she had never been to before. Clean, quiet streets with tall gates and big houses that looked like hotels. Finally, the car stopped in front of a white mansion with black iron gates. A security man opened the gate, and they drove in slowly. Emma could hardly breathe. Was this a dream? Mr. Harris came out and said, "Come on." Emma followed him, her steps small and unsure. The front door opened before they reached it. A woman in uniform stood there. "This is Rose," Mr. Harris said. "She's the housekeeper. You'll be reporting to her." Rose raised an eyebrow. She looked at Emma from head to toe and didn't look impressed. "She'll sleep in the servant quarters?" Rose asked. Mr. Harris nodded. "Make sure she eats and gets a uniform. She starts tomorrow." He didn't wait for a reply. He just turned and walked up the stairs. Rose sighed and looked at Emma again. "Well, you heard him. Come with me." Emma followed her through the back of the house to a small row of rooms. It was neat and simple. Bed, fan, small wardrobe, and a tiny bathroom. It looked like a palace to Emma. "You're lucky," Rose said as she handed her some old clothes. "He doesn't usually pick people off the street. In fact, he doesn't like strangers." Emma smiled weakly. "I'll work hard. I promise." Rose nodded but didn't look convinced. "We'll see." That night, Emma lay on the small bed, staring at the ceiling. She had eaten a full meal. Rice and chicken. Real chicken, not the bony pieces she used to get from cheap joints. Her stomach was full, but her heart was still nervous. What if Mr. Harris changed his mind? What if she made a mistake? What if this was all a dream? The next morning, she woke up before the alarm. Rose gave her a uniform and a list of chores: sweep the hall, clean the guest rooms, polish the staircase, mop the kitchen floor. Emma went to work like her life depended on it. She scrubbed until her hands hurt. She cleaned every corner like it was her last day on earth. When Rose came to check, she walked around the house, touching surfaces with one finger. Not bad," she said. Emma smiled for the first time in days. The next few days were the same. Work, eat, sleep, repeat. She rarely saw Mr. Harris. Sometimes he came home late, other times he left early. But each time she saw him, he looked at her, not with kindness, not with anger, just a calm, unreadable look. One evening, while she was cleaning the study, he walked in. "You missed a spot," he said, pointing at the edge of a bookshelf. Emma quickly wiped it again. He walked around slowly. "What's your story?" She froze. "Sir, you said you used to be a maid. How did you end up sleeping in a car wash?" Emma looked down. "I was accused of stealing. My boss threw me out. I had no family. My rent expired. My landlord kicked me out too." Mr. Harris leaned against the table. "Did you steal?" "No, sir," she said quickly, her eyes wide. "I would never do that." He looked at her for a moment longer, then nodded. "I believe you." Emma's eyes widened. "You do?" "Yes. I've seen liars. You don't look like one." That night, Emma cried quietly on her bed, but not tears of pain. Tears of relief. Tears of hope. Maybe, just maybe, things were changing. Emma woke up with a new kind of energy. Mr. Harris had said he believed her. Those words stayed in her heart like warm tea on a cold day. She had started to feel more comfortable in the house. She knew which rooms to clean. First, how Mr. Harris liked his study arranged, and how Rose liked her tea. Half sugar, no milk. But comfort doesn't mean peace. One Monday morning, something happened that shook her little world. Mr. Harris's younger sister, Lily, came to visit. Lily was the complete opposite of her brother. Loud, demanding, and always dressed like she was walking on a fashion show runway. From the moment she saw Emma, she rolled her eyes. "Who is this one?" she asked Rose loudly. She's the new help, Rose replied. HMPH, Lily scoffed. Let's see how long she lasts. Emma tried to stay out of her way, but it was hard. Lily left her things all over the place and always shouted when something was not done exactly how she liked it. One afternoon, Emma was cleaning the hallway when Lily walked in. I asked for orange juice 10 minutes ago, she snapped. Emma paused her sweeping and hurried to the kitchen. But when she returned with the juice, Lily looked at her coldly. Too late. I don't want it anymore. Emma blinked. I'm sorry, Ma. Are you talking back at me? No, Ma. I'm just. Lily stood up, took the glass of juice, and poured it on the floor. Clean that up, she said, walking away. Emma stood there for a few seconds, blinking back tears. But she bent down and cleaned it. Rose walked in and saw what happened. She didn't say anything, but later, she gave Emma a small piece of bread with butter and said quietly, Don't let her break you. That night, Emma was still scrubbing the floor when Mr. Harris walked in. You're still working? He asked. I wanted to finish the hallway, so. He looked around, then walked closer. My sister's making things hard for you, isn't she? Emma lowered her eyes. I can handle it, sir. He smiled a little. You're tougher than you look. He turned to go, but paused. If anything ever gets too much, tell me. You're not alone. Here. The next day, a gold necklace went missing. Lily screamed so loud the whole house shook. My necklace is gone. Someone stole it. That maid. That Emma girl. Emma was called immediately. I didn't take it, she said, her hands shaking. Lily crossed her arms. It was right here in my room yesterday. Now it's gone. Who else comes here? Emma shook her head. Please, Ma. I would never take anything. Rose stepped forward. Let's search her things. Emma didn't argue. She let them search everything in her room, under the bed, in her small bag, in the bathroom. Nothing. Mr. Harris walked in halfway through the search. What's going on? Your precious new maid stole my necklace. Lily cried. She didn't, he said firmly. Lily turned. You're taking her side. Mr. Harris looked at Emma. I trust her. Just then, Rose's phone rang. She picked it and her eyes widened. She looked at everyone in the room. Sir, she said, turning to Mr. Harris. The driver just called. He found Miss Lily's necklace under the back seat of the car. The room went quiet. Lily's face turned red. Oh, I must have dropped it there. Mr. Harris didn't say anything. He just turned and walked out. Emma stood there, her heart pounding. Later that evening, he called her to the study. Are you still okay staying here? He asked. Emma nodded. Yes, sir. He smiled. You passed. Pass what? So. A test. Life will throw many at you. You just passed one with grace. Emma smiled faintly. Thank you, so. And for the first time, she called the mansion home in her heart. 2 months had passed since the necklace drama. Emma had become part of the house in a quiet but powerful way. Mr. Harris had grown even more fond of her. He trusted her completely. Sometimes, during lunch, he would invite her to sit with him and Rose in the garden. They would talk about books, life, and dreams. Emma never forgot where she came from. Every night, she prayed on the small mat in her room, thanking God for mercy. She still sent small money to her younger brother in the village, using almost all of her salary. She never asked for more, never acted proud. She was content. One morning, Mr. Harris called her into his study. She stood nervously at the door. You sent for me, so. Yes, Emma. Come in. Sit down. She sat slowly, her hands on her lap. I've been watching you, he said. You're smart, honest, and strong. I believe you deserve more than scrubbing floors. Emma looked up slowly. Sir. He smiled. Would you like to go to school? Her heart skipped. Me? Yes. I spoke with a friend. There's a short business course starting next week. If you're interested, I'll sponsor it. Emma covered her mouth. Her eyes filled with tears. Sir, thank you. I don't even know what to say. Say yes. Yes. I say yes. And just like that, her life began to change again. She started going to school 3 days a week while working part-time in the house. Mr. Harris adjusted her duties, and even Rose helped her with schoolwork. Emma worked hard, as always, and at the end of the course, she passed with one of the highest scores. One evening, she came back from school to find a small party in the garden. Mr. Harris, Rose, and even some of his close friends were there. What's happening? She asked, surprised. It's for you, Rose said. You passed your exams. Emma laughed. You didn't have to do this. Mr. Harris stepped forward with a small box. I also have something else, he said. Emma opened the box and gasped. It was a brand new phone and a letter. She opened the letter and read, You are not a maid. You are a woman of strength. I would be honored if you agree to work for me, not as a cleaner, but as my personal assistant. Emma froze. Sir, this is too much. It's not, Mr. Harris said. You earned it. I trust you more than anyone. Tears ran down Emma's cheeks. Thank you, sir. I accept. That was the day she stopped being the poor maid. Months passed, and Emma grew into her new role. She dressed smartly, moved with confidence, and handled big tasks. People respected her. Even Lily, who once insulted her, now greeted her with quiet respect. And as for Mr. Harris, one quiet Saturday evening, they sat in the garden, drinking tea. Emma, he said softly, there's something else I need to ask. She looked up, curious. I know this may sound strange, but would you ever consider being more than just my assistant? Emma blinked. Sir. I mean, would you give me a chance? I don't see you as just a worker anymore. You've become someone I care about deeply. Emma didn't speak for a long moment. Then, with a small smile, she said, I think I care about you too. And just like that, a new story began. Not the story of a poor maid, but the story of a strong woman who rose from nothing, with courage in her heart, and kindness in her hands, and who found not just success, but love. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more interesting stories, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss out on any latest video, and share with someone. Also tell us something in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in our next story. Bye for now.